Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that can really, truly make a huge difference in how confident you sound in English. We're talking about countable and uncountable nouns. Trust me, getting this down is a game changer for speaking more naturally. Have you ever been there? You're trying to say something, but the words just don't feel quite right. You might think, wait, why can I say two books, but not two informations? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place because we are going to clear all of that up today. Okay, let's get right into it. First things first, we have to understand the basic difference between these two kinds of nouns. And you know what? It all boils down to one simple question. Can you actually count it? So first up, we've got countable nouns. Honestly, these are the easy ones. They're the things you can literally point to and count, one by one. Think about it. One apple, two apples. A book, many books. They have a singular form for just one and a plural form for more than one. Simple enough, right? Now, on the flip side, we have uncountable nouns. These are things you can't really separate into individual units. They're usually substances, like water, or abstract ideas, like information. You just can't say one water or two rices. You have to see them as a whole, as a single mass. So this little chart here is basically your cheat sheet. It lays out the main distinction perfectly. With countable nouns, you ask, how many apples? And you can use numbers. For uncountable nouns, you ask, how much water? And you don't use numbers directly with the word. This is the foundation for everything else. All right, now that we get the basic difference, let's build our toolkit. We need the right words to go with these nouns. And choosing correctly between words like much and many, well, that's where you really start to sound natural. This guide makes it super simple. Many and a few are for your countable things. Much and a little are for the uncountable stuff. But here's a fantastic tip. Words like a lot of, some, and any are your flexible friends. They work with both. Seriously, in everyday chat, a lot of is your best friend. It's used all the time. Okay, pay attention here, because this tiny little letter A changes everything. If you say you have a few friends, that's positive. It means you have some, and you're happy about it. But if you say you have few friends, it sounds kind of sad, like you have almost none. It's the same with a little milk versus little milk. That one little letter completely flips the feeling of the whole sentence. It's amazing. All right, every language has its tricky bits, and English is no exception. Some nouns they feel like they're breaking the rules. But they're not, really. They just follow their own special logic. So let's dive into the most common ones that trip people up. Take a good look at this list. These are some of the biggest culprits. So many people mistakenly add an S to these words. But here's the one rule you need to remember. These words never get a plural S. You say some advice, not advices. You say a lot of homework, never homeworks. And now, things get really interesting. Some nouns can actually be both countable and uncountable. What? Yeah, but it all comes down to context. For instance, when you say, I like coffee, you're talking about the drink in general as a substance, so it's uncountable. But if you're at a coffee shop ordering, you can absolutely say, 2 coffees, please. So why is that okay? Because in that situation, coffees is just a shortcut for cups of coffee. You're counting the individual servings. See? Context is king. Here's another perfect example to make this crystal clear, the word hair. When you talk about all the hair on someone's head, it's a mass, so it's uncountable. She has long hair. But if you find one single solitary strand somewhere it shouldn't be, it becomes countable. Ew, there is a hair in my soup. Again, the meaning totally changes the grammar. So, you've got the grammar down. That's awesome. But sounding truly natural is about more than just rules. It's about knowing which words just belong together. They're like little word partnerships, and we call them collocations. Let's start with a classic duo that gives everyone trouble: make versus do. A really simple way to think about it is this. You make something when you're creating something new that wasn't there before, like making a cake. And you do something when you're performing a task or an action, like doing the dishes. Here are some super essential phrases. And the real trick is to learn these as complete chunks of language. Don't just learn the word advice. Learn the whole phrase, give advice. When you learn them together like this, you won't have to stop and think about the rules. It just starts to feel automatic. Okay, let's wrap this up by putting theory into practice.
We're going to do a quick fire round, fixing the most common mistakes people make. Think of this as your guide to sounding more accurate, like right now.
First up, the classic advice mistake. Remember what we said? Advice is uncountable, so it never, ever gets an S. Instead of many advices, the natural way to say it is some good advice or a piece of advice. And here's another big one, furniture. Even though you can count chairs and tables, the word furniture itself is a group name, an uncountable noun. So you never say furnitures, you always say some new furniture. Oh, this is a huge one. You can count dollars, you can count yen, but the concept of money is uncountable. That's why we have to use much, or even more commonly, a lot of, but never many. So I don't have much money is the way to go. And finally, the ultimate trickster, news. That S on the end makes everybody think it's plural, but it's not. News is an uncountable, singular noun. So please, burn this into your memory. You always say, the news is good. Never are. So, as we're finishing up, I want to leave you with this idea. Don't stress out about memorizing every single rule. The real secret to fluency is to just listen. Listen to how native speakers talk, notice the patterns they use, and then try using them yourself. That's how this all becomes second nature. And that's our deep dive. Now, to really make this stick, I've got a challenge for you. Think back on everything we covered. Maybe it's give advice, or a piece of furniture, or even the news is good. What is one new phrase you are going to make a point to practice today? Thanks for joining me.